DC Universe Presents number 17, written by Joe Keatinge, art by Ricken. This is focused on Arsenal, and it's just a one-off. So we open up with some random criminals being beaten up by Red Hood and Starfire, and they're just asking like, hey, we left a note for Arsenal, right? Like, he knows to be here right now. Where is he? And then we cut to Arsenal, who is currently being held prisoner, hostage, by a triad of villains. And the muscle enforcer guy is named Zhang Zing. And he comes in here being like, you made a lot of enemies, Mr. Harper, but don't worry, I promise you only one thing, a slow and painful death. And Roy's like, well, yep, that sucks. Hey, do you have a quarter? I could really use a quarter. And he's like, no, you're in Hong Kong. We don't do quarters. And he has the big mutated guy behind him kick Roy in the chest. And Roy looks up and he realizes that it is Killer Croc, except he's wearing like a little red glowing thing around his neck. And he's like, huh, Croc, is that you? Me and you, we have a history. You should know not to attack me. So I'm guessing that thing around your neck is mind control or something. So yeah, I'll figure that out. And he talks to Zhang Jing in Chinese, and he's like, dude, you learned Chinese? That's awesome. That's great. Where'd you get a tutor? And at that point, he starts giving the other guy crap. He's like, you know, I could do a pretty good job if I were on your side. Just need to know what the healthcare is like. And we flash back to Roy with Killer Croc, and Croc basically being like, wait a minute, hold on. You seem like you're pretty suicidal and you're just using me to kill yourself, aren't you? And Roy's like, maybe. He's like, okay, well, go ahead and get into AA and then talk to me later on and I'll be your sponsor or whatever. So he's basically telling him, you know, if you want to kill yourself, leave me out of it, but I'm here to help. So then we see a brief little fight scene where Jing goes to punch him and Roy manages to steal a coin from his pocket as Zhang leaves. And he's like, all right, bye, see you soon. And Roy spits the coin out of his mouth over and over and over again for many hours until it manages to crack open his shackle, which I don't think that happens, but regardless, he does it. And we see a nice little comedic beat here of one of the guys who was set to watch him is running down the hallway as bodies just start piling up behind him. And he's screaming like, please, open the door, open the door. But like it's written in the way of what somebody who doesn't speak Chinese would be like interpreting it as. So it was like emasculating panicked comment, a bunch of curse words which don't paint Roy in a flattering light, fear of never seeing his daughter again. But he goes up to the door and he's like, open the door, Arsenal's escaped. And it's like, okay, but whatever. We have his arrows over on this side of the door. He's literally not a threat. And he's like, you don't understand. He doesn't need his arrows. His name's Arsenal. He can use anything. And we see Arsenal turning the corner with nothing but a toolbox, holding a bloodied screwdriver, just being like, all right, we all understand what the screwdriver does then. So now let's move on to some other tools. And he comes up after the guy and just beats the crap out of him. And finally he gets up to Jing and he's like, all right, hey, I'd love to just leave and not bother with you, but you got Croc and I kind of owe him. And he sees him in a better light and it turns out he's not Croc. He's just another giant lizard man who happens to have more like dragon-like features. So he's like, oh, well, this is embarrassing. I guess I'll be off. And Zing's like, no, not kill him. And then the dragon guy starts attacking Roy, really landing some hard punches on him, throws him through some glass. But when the glass breaks, Roy picks up a shard of it and throws it into the necklace that was controlling the dragon guy. And Roy's like, there, you're free. Now, don't you want to beat up the guys who were forcing you to do this? And he hesitates for a second before seemingly turning back onto Roy. And Roy's like, oh, that's not cool, man. But then he shows, nah, it was all just a ruse. He goes ahead and beats up the rest of the gang that's attacking alongside Roy. And he says his name is Feng, F-A-N-G, and he's like, okay, that's a name. Good on you. Anyway, keep an eye on Zhang here. I'm going to let you do whatever you want to him, but just make sure he doesn't get in any more trouble. And piece of advice, don't kill him. Like, I did some bad things, and I can now give advice on don't kill him. And Zhang's like, all right, well, I guess I'll figure out something else to do. And Roy's about to leave, and he's like, oh, wait, shit, by the way, do you know where my arrows are? So he gets his arrows, and he goes back to Starfire's ship, where Jason and Starfire just fell asleep waiting for him. He goes over to Jason's wallet and takes out like $10 because they said earlier on how Jason owed him $10, so they're just filling that one. And then he just sits down on the couch and watches some TV, and he's like, yeah, my friends may be the worst, but hey, so am I. So yeah, that's the issue. Honestly, it's probably the most I've liked Arsenal since the beginning of the New 52. Like, he was actually fun to read, and the way he dealt with everything, it wasn't anything serious. It wasn't like, oh, this is truly the origin of Arsenal. It's just a fun little read, and completely at place in the DC Universe Presents books. So overall, I got to give this one I'll give it a 7.5. I really do like it. I think it's, I don't recognize the name, Joe Keatinge. It's completely new to me, so I honestly wouldn't mind if he showed up in other places, and the art was fine as well. So overall, just a decent book.